welcome everybody to another Link to the Past Randomizer Main Tournament 2022 match. Today we've got Inverted Key Sanity between Hydrapower and DukeFireBird. I'm Ben Creighton, and I'm joined today by Wolflink.
Good evening, everyone, and I am already just kind of nervous about this one, honestly.
Yeah, this is one of those modes that was very controversial when they announced it. Lots of people just not up to play much Inverted. Some folks not super happy about the specific way that they implemented Inverted for this, but I poked my head into the race time room before the race, and both of these runners said, "Oh, Inverted Key Sanity, awesome!" So I'm glad they're happy.
That's right. So for those who are wondering what Inverted Key Sanity is, in case you're new here, here's how this works. First and foremost, you can see down here at the bottom of the screen, our tracker is already lit up in advance with the flute. So we will have that enabled, and it's already active for our runners. Key Sanity is simply put, maps, compasses, small keys, boss keys. They're all shuffled in the main pool instead of being in their normal dungeons. Inverted is the big thing, though. Normally, we play in the light world and and have to get to the dark world. We flip the script. We're starting in the dark world and have to get our way to the light world.
And starting here in the dark world, we're finding the Compass of Ice Palace. It's not going to do much good. We gotta go somewhere else. Where are we gonna go?
I'm immediately going to Maya, whereas DukeFireBird is going to start in Village of Outcasts. There's 2 free items here for Hydrapower in particular, and we get information that Bombos is required for Misery Mire.
And C-shaped house has the big key of that Misery Mire. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of this Misery Mire start with this flute-equipped, flute-activated inverted mode, and I like it. It's just 2 free checks right here, a little bit of information, and you would like to maximize your opportunities to get enough money to play race game, to get chest game. So I like it.
Right. Now, as we see Hydrapower going into Thieves Town, a couple of quick nuances as well. First off, we do need the Moon Pearl to stay in the dark world, or the light world rather, as a bunny as we get the lamp. And of course, anything that required the mirror normally in the light world has been slightly altered so that we can just walk up to it. So the Cave Salva Grove, for example, does not require the mirror anymore in order to reach its item.
And DukeFireBird taking advantage to farm a couple bombs out of Skull Woods here as Hydrapower continues on through the front of Thieves Town.
That's right. This is one of the early and most common plays you'll see in Inverted is to come here to the back of Skull Woods to farm a few bombs. One of the most consistent spots to do so. Now, earlier we did see the map to Skull Woods, I believe, on Hydrapower's end, and the Master Compasses in Key Sandy, for those unaware, do some specific things. For our case, the maps will show us what pendant or crystal the dungeon is. That is the only way to get that information. No music will help you. No one else will help you except for Sahasrara and the bomb vendor, who is now at Link's house in the light world.
And Hydrapower pulling a Misery Mire small key out of Thieves Town, also giving us a quick map check, revealing that Skull Woods map gives us red crystal in Skull Woods.
That's right. Now, the compasses don't have that much of a use. They'll give you an item count for the dungeon. It's helpful for more newer players who don't have a tracker yet. But other than that, its other main uses comes in when we have the boss shuffle happening. That will tell you what the boss of the dungeon is, but we are not playing with that setting tonight.
And in answer to a question in chat, this particular tournament has 5 different modes that can happen. Nobody knows what mode will be played until the seed is rolled. Not the players, not the commentators. All of which is to say, if you hear me saying some ignorant stuff about how Inverted works, go ahead and correct me, because I did not sign up to Common Inverted Keys race. I just signed up to Comma Race, and we let the chips fall where they may.
Another common play you see here in Inverted is the archery minigame is a valuable source of money grinding here. Lining up those shots with the second curtain on the right. For at least for the first couple of cycles, pretty much ensures that you're going to get the target every single time, allowing you to get a good amount of money to start doing stuff like the digging game and the treasure chest game of Village of Outcasts.
And let's see what the dig game holds for us. Between 1 and 30 digs will yield the prize. Just 10 arrows today.
And there's the map to Hyrule Castle, and that actually brings up a good other point here that we haven't mentioned yet about inverted. Aga Castle Tower and Ganon's Tower have flipped as well. Ganon's Tower is in Aga Tower's entrance, and Castle Tower is now over at Ganon's Tower. And there is no barrier to block, so we do not necessarily need the Master Sword or the Cape to get through. We just need something to cut the curtain and a lamp for logical Aga access.
Yes, indeed. Hydrapower pulling the big key of Desert there off of Stumpy. And DukeFireBird's going to give us our first look at Hype Cave. Ooh, and that's a sword in chest game on Hydrapower's side.
That means we do, in fact, have access to Aghanim. And there's the hookshot over there in Hookshot Cave. Or, what am I saying? Along with the B, yeah, they're in Hype Cave.
And inverted, with Aga in logic, we can get to the light world. We'll be a bunny there, but there are a handful of locations you can get as a bunny, including, if the seed is rude enough, walking all the way to the bottle merchant in Kakariko Village from the Hyrule Castle portal, is my understanding.
Yeah. Now, this comes with a little bit of extra risk, because once you defeat Aghanim, the light world suddenly flips into its harder version on you, which means there's going to be a lot more guards, and a lot more aggressive guards in particular, which means you could easily get completely destroyed as a bunny. Alright, so here we go with the Lionels here at Dark World. This is one of the more dangerous things. You just take that fireball, let them reposition out of your way, and you get to move on. You have to be at full health for this on 3 hearts.
Yep, and you have to make sure to take that damage from the fireball. A Lionel Hug will kill you in one shot. And that was Quake as our entrance requirement to Turtle Rock today.
So 2 medallions potentially required. Ooh, Hydrapower is slightly off-center there with the statue, and manages to dodge the Wall Master, thankfully. And there's our Moon Pearl at Super Bunny Cave, along with another sword.
All right, looks like things are starting to open up for us here. We're still going to need at least 1 glove and either a hammer or the second glove before we get proper Light World access, although that does give us access through... Actually, no. This is Key Sanity. We would need the 2 Castle Tower small keys before that gives us our Light World access.
Ah, you're right. I did forget about that.
Yeah, so we have access to the first chest in Castle Tower, but we need 1 small key to get the second, and both small keys to get all the way through and into the Light World.
The things you forget when you have so many different rules in play.
Yes, indeed. And welcome, Raiders from SpeedGaming Prime. You're tuning in to Hydrapower versus DukeFireBird in this inverted Key Sanity seed. It's been a bit of a slow start, but we're less than 10 minutes in, and we just found the Moon Pearl in Super Bunny Cave.
DukeFireBird is risking the Old Man. Old Man, of course, being on Dark Death Mountain instead of Light World Death Mountain. And you have to actually take him back to his original spot in Light World.
Yeah, bit of a hike to get Old Man back home. And yeah, come to think of it, we do have East Death Mountain in logic, hop through the portal and then hook shot across. So that's a whole bunch more checks for DukeFireBird.
Yeah, because he can retain his form now with that Moon Pearl. Unfortunately, the flute does not work in the light world, so he's stuck on the mountain. He can't do anything else here. Whoa, wait a minute. That's a huge poultry prize there I just saw.
Oh, I missed it.
It was 32 bombs.
Unfortunately, unless you want to swing by the waterfall of wishing, 22 of those minimum are going to go to waste.
No, but you're only realistically 1 or 2 of those packs and you're good to go.
And we've got a small key up on top of Spectacle Rock. I didn't see what was inside it, but DukeFireBird seems to think it's something good.
Meanwhile, we just found the small key to Desert Palace, and that actually brings up a good point we should probably mention about the key logic here. Simply put, key logic simply is the doors are all assumed to be in logic, and they make sure that the last key you use is always the last way you actually need to go.
Another interesting quirk in Inverted is that a book is going to be the only way to get into Desert Palace with the mirror working the way it does. Can't do that little flute to 6 and mirror out trick. So I would not be surprised at all to see that book showing up sooner rather than later with all those keys pointing us to, hey, maybe Desert Palace, though?
That's right, and we can also make a good reference here to Desert Palace as part of the key logic there. No, there is a small key you can find in a pot in the back half of the dungeon, and you could theoretically use that to open a door in the front half. So, but as a result, you would then have to find the small key in addition to the big key to fight Lamola's. So, by key logic, Lamola's is locked behind both this big and the small key. That is probably the easiest way to explain just a brief understanding of how key logic works.
All right, DukeFireBird just pulled the bow, the first glove, and the ether medallion out of Paradox Cave, as well as some nice cashy money and a small key to Pod.
That is our first of 6, I believe, so we'll have a lot of keys left to go there.
So right now we're just one item away from our Light World access. I don't think we saw that first chest of Castle Tower from DukeFireBird. And it looks like we're not going to see it from Hydrapower right away, at least. Ooh, there's the flippers on the floating island.
This, of course, being one of the various mirror logic changes that Inverted brings. Right there being an example, that bridge is not normally there in a standard world state.
So let's see. I'm trying to think what those flippers do for us. They open up East Dark World at this point. So Pod, Catfish with that glove, that just opens up some possibilities for that final piece of the Light World puzzle.
Does also eventually give us access to entering Ice Palace, but we need the Fire Rod or bombs to go even deeper. And there's the map to Misery Mire right there. We'll hopefully see a map check from DukeFireBird here soon.
Yeah, with a Misery Mire big and small showing up relatively early, entirely possible that that's going to be one of our crystals. And Recitador, I hope I got that pronunciation even close to correct in the chat, reminds me that in this flute start mode, East Dark World was in fact already open. Thank you for the correction. And DukeFireBird's going to show us that first check in Castle Tower.
Let's wait for these guards to get in position here. They can be kind of annoying to deal with.
Yeah, it can be a little rough with Fighter Sword. The bow can make this go a little bit quicker, although with 6 arrows, I don't think that's quite enough to kill both of them with just the bow.
Oh, but those guards are in the high-value drop pool, I believe, with that magic decanter.
And just 10 arrows. They're in that chest, so it's looking like East Dark World is gonna be our answer.
DukeFireBird going to make the trip across the bridge again. Gonna hit by that fireball once again. You gotta be looking at hookshot cave here.
That's another bottle. And just that bottle and a heart container, a little bit of extra safety here early on, but not the progression that we crave.
Now, Hydra are taking a death warp there, and that was actually smart, because he did not have enough health to tank the Lionel shot. Oh, but he could have just used the hookshot there. And then he just completely dodged it by a pixel. Very impressive there.
Yep, I certainly don't blame him for wanting the extra safety if he misses that that timing window on that hookshot strat. Nice to have the backup. Hydrapower about to find his Moon Pearl here in Super Bunny Cave. DukeFireBird showing us a new check. Let's see what Catfish has for us.
Rather than hammer.
Oh, almost as good. It's the Smiths. There's a good Light World Axe.
Yeah, we have a couple options too, I believe. I believe we can use that to start at the portal at Lake Hylia, or am I not thinking of that correctly?
No, you do need the hammer for, if you mean the portal south of Link's house.
No, I mean the Ice Palace portal, actually.
Oh, no, that's, we don't... Actually, now I'm not even sure. I never
Yeah,
thought
I'm not
of
sure
trying
that
to
one's
do
there
that.
either.
Yeah, I'm fairly sure it is. You just don't often see folks using it. But this works out really well for DukeFireBird, because he had avoided the Village of Outcasts area up until this point, and now he can go ahead and knock it out right before his trip into the Light World.
DukeFireBird and Hydrapower now are matching the Master Swords, both of them picking up the same swords, in fact. And Hydrapower is now getting all the goodies that were in Paradise Cave, whereas DukeFireBird is starting to clean up South Dark World.
Yep, it'll be interesting to see if he winds up getting that lamp on Stumpy or heading back into the village from here. All right, no fire source for DukeFireBird quite yet. We're going to go ahead and pick up everyone's favorite bullfrog.
Yeah, we'll probably be seeing the Smiths here in just a moment, along with the rest of Kakariko Village. which is double-digit items here, so it's going to be pretty item dense. In fact, DukeFireBird, I believe, can get everything out of the Kakariko Village area, except for Magic Bat.
Just about, yeah. He's got a bottle for everyone's favorite sick kid. Plenty of bombs, plenty of money.
Ah, wait, no boots. That's right. Can't do the library at least, but can do pretty much almost everything else that you would expect to do on a first round trip. For the big key, this one going to Ice Palace.
Having just seen a race in this particular mode that trolled both of our runners by going through Ice Palace before getting the big key. That's definitely one of those nice things to get out of the way just early on.
And we just got a match out there from Hydrapower. I did not see what it was there on Mystery Mire, but it was definitely a crystal. I just couldn't tell if it was red or blue. As I chat's got sharper eyes than me and saw a blue crystal.
And that's another pod small out of Blind's hideout here.
For the Harpies, pretty healthy start for an inverted seed, honestly. You know, part of me just realized that I'm actually kind of okay with inverted key sanity because there's no way you can have a low percent blind fight being forced. The odds are astronomically lower.
Yep, well, and that's exactly why they decided to add the key shuffle to this mode. It was originally tentatively announced as just straight inverted, and after some community feedback, the tournament admins decided to add the key sanity specifically so that we wouldn't see the same handful of low percent boss fights over and over.
Yeah, smart. Could still happen, but smart.
Hydrapower about to grab his Titan's mitts from Catfish. And just due to fortuitous routing, DukeFireBird a little bit ahead, but barely 20 minutes in. That's something that could flip several times before the match is up.
Yeah, and DukeFireBird hasn't been into Thieves Town yet, so it does not have the fire source advantage that Hydrapower does. So once the book is found, Hydrapower can go immediately into Desert Palace, whereas DukeFireBird will have to do a little bit of searching for that fire source. Won't be able to fight the land bullets without it. So it is still anyone's game at this point.
Firebird's going to show us our first look at the Lost Woods here. Topping off his bombs and giving us our first GT small key out of the mushroom spot.
All right, 1 of 4.
So yep, we're starting to get out of that awkward early game of this inverted seed and moving straight along to the awkward mid game of our key sanity seed, where you have the ability to get into a fair number of places, but no dungeons quite yet. We need a book to get into desert, or a big key to make Eastern clearable to really give us a strong direction to go.
Got a
No
lumberjack
worries about Aga. Nothing on Lumberjack.
Oh, good. I actually looked down just at the worst possible time.
Yep, just $20, and both of our runners have plenty of rupees for the rest of this seed. Not that you're likely to want to do Aga 1 for $20, no matter how poor you are, but...
Yeah, we don't need Aga for much of anything in this seed.
Nope, if we do wind up getting a castle tower small, that'll open up one more check in Aga Tower, but not much call to be actually defeating Aga 1 today. I believe that was just the bug net there in back of Escape.
Looks like that was a medallion on library. I forget if we've seen that yet.
Our eagle-eyed tracker informing us that was Quake there on library.
Which we do need to enter Turtle Rock, although we do not know if that is a pendant or a crystal right now, with the whole lack of information.
And in answer to a question a little earlier in chat, that lamp is hiding on Stumpy. So that's the big difference maker between our runners at the moment. DukeFireBird otherwise ahead, but if he decides to head someplace that needs a fire source, it's going to get a little bit rough for him.
Well, the lamp was in Thieves now, but but I'm getting confused already.
All right, we've got multiple folks in the chat informing us that you are in fact correct about that Thieves Town. I was getting the handful of checks that Hydrapower had done over DukeFireBird confused.
Well, meanwhile, I found the big key to Turtle Rock along with 300 rupees. Good timing, considering he's in Zora area.
Yep, so that's more than enough in terms of cash. That Thieves Town big key is kind of an interesting proposition with no hammer and no small key. When do you make that play?
He doesn't make that play at all. That was the TR's big key.
Oh, the TR big key. I heard you wrong. Never mind. Hydrapower showing us Cave 45, which is going to be another big key today. It's Tower of Hera. And just sadness on the Scamfish.
Yeah, Tower of Hera big key, not really that required, but it'll be nice so that they don't have to double the dungeon, at least. Most people, I would assume that these runners both know how to Hera pop by now, although I'm not sure if they know how to do the bomb setup for it.
Yeah, most folks at this point at this level know one setup or another. But yeah, that will open up, and in logic, all of Tower of Hera except for that basement. Still need a small key for that.
We are seeing a purple chest turn in now and compass on the desert ledge.
Yep. Meanwhile, DukeFireBird is use that Ice Palace portal that I had forgotten the existence of before. He's going to show us Ice Rod Cave, and we'll see where he goes from there, but we have not seen Mini Moldorm Cave yet.
Dragonborn Cave, meanwhile, not having anything of note. And Ice Rod Cave only giving us the blue rupee.
Hydrapower giving the Desert Sage a bomb to the face in retribution for his holding a whole bunch of nothing. And the new checks keep coming. DukeFireBird's about to show us Hobo as Hydrapower makes his way towards the Desert Thief with that purple chest.
And inside the purple chest, we have a small key to Skull Woods. That'll help with a little bit of rounding, but I don't think we need to worry about that. I think our runners have already cleared the front, or at least one of them has.
Yeah, I'm fairly sure there was a bunch of nothing in there, but now it's a bunch of nothing that you could have spent a small key on. And that's Blue Mail submerged by the dam. So nice little extra bit of safety with only 6 hearts to Hydrapower's name. Having that effectively doubled is not a bad thing. Hydrapower is going to head into Mini Moldorm Cave. This is one of our last real check-dense areas before we start heading into dungeons. And was that Desert Palace and Skull Woods as our red crystals? Yes, it was.
That was indeed. And there's our hammer in Mini Moldorm Cave. And ladies and gentlemen, that means we do need the book. And there is also a Castle Tower small key.
That hammer's going to make routing a whole lot easier, being able to use those Light World portals south of Link's house and south of Eastern Pod area. Let's see what Uncle holds. It's the other mail upgrade.
Right, so red mail available. And the fire rod. There is the fire source for DukeFireBird. So lamping a Thieves Town, not as big a deal anymore.
Yep, as long as the Duke knows his dark rooms, that will take care of him until and unless he decides to make that Thieves Town play.
Now, we spent so much time talking about the modes. We didn't even mention the runner's stats thus far here in Group W here. Currently, this is Hydrapower's 5th game of the group stage here, having a 2-2 record. And meanwhile, this is DukeFireBird's 3rd game. He is currently 0-2.
All right. DukeFireBird's moves have been paying off so far. Let's see if he can get his first W on the board today. He's going to continue to show us our first look in the front of Escape here. And it looks like he's running into some guards, setting up a nice death warm for himself to poke his head into Dark Cross after this.
DukeFireBird getting hit by these guards here. I'm thinking that deliver, considering no mirror. Probably thinking about a death warp here once he finishes up his routing down here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's a bit of a rough death warp with Blue Mail and as many hearts as he has, but he's been making sure to take just 1 or 2 hits from every guard he passes.
Now, the Hyrule Caves basement here is also a prime example of key logic here. Everything past that first cell door or down here was locked behind the Hyrule Castle small key, because you can take that and open up the Dark Cross way. Although, no real point in doing that, considering we do have the gloves at this point, so you can have the hair on the shoulders there. But that logic's in place just for that eventuality.
Yep, so this Dark Cross is in fact going to be in logic, even from DukeFireBird's perspective, in logic with that fire rod. And of course also with the lamp that Hydrapower found in Thieves Town. And it looks like DukeFireBird is setting up another Death Warp. He has more plans for his Light World trek that do not involve saving and quitting out of Dark Cross.
Yeah, this is all entirely logic for DukeFireBird here because of that right there, the torches. Before, or Darkness required the lamp as a hard requirement, but now if you have the fire rod, if you know where the torches are in a room, you can light them up. Torchless rooms, however, those still require the lamp.
Just $20 there in Dark Cross. Not gonna help Firebird out.
I was wondering if the rope would actually bop him and give the iframes and not actually kill him.
That would have been a little rude.
Hydrapower, meanwhile, taking the hammer over here to hammer pegs. This is kind of an isolated check here in Inverted because of how the smiths work. So, good to get this done and out of the way. And today is rewarded with a small key. Where to, though? Dark Palace.
Yeah, that is, I believe, Hydrapower's third pod small. And DukeFireBird's going to show us Sage's Closet. We'll see if he continues into Eastern from here.
He'll probably give us information as well regarding the green pendant, which is in Dark Palace.
Ooh, and there's that Bombos. Also the big key of Swamp Palace and the big key of Thieves Town. Here in Sage's Closet. So Susrella holding all the goods.
That's right. Big key to Swamp Palace is not required in order to finish the dungeon, but that Thieves Town definitely is. It unlocks the entire back half of Thieves Town.
Yeah, that Thieves Town big is the real prize there, but the swamp is one of those fetch quest big keys that it's really nice to have, just so that you're not orphaning items in this key sanity seed where there are so many items necessary for go mode. You don't want to be leaving more of them behind than you can help.
Alright, looks like DukeFireBird's going to be heading to the southwest Hyrule here. Maybe looking to do dam. Hydrapower is going to be scouting Aghanim Lit, or the Lumberjack Ledge, rather. Now, here's a question I have for you, Ben Crichton. Hydrapower here is the bow and it has the lamp, but not the Eastern Palace big key. Do you dip in there and look for and grab the 5 items that are in there?
You know, I think if you're going in that direction, obviously you hit Sage's Closet first. If you find nothing in Sage's Closet, I think that's a strong play, but knowing that the Thieves Town big especially is in there, I think that at that point, I peace out and go do the completable dungeon. But that's just me. I think it would be an entirely justifiable play to say, I don't want to orphan that small key locked item in the Thieves Town big chest. I'll hope to wait to find that and just hope that the Eastern Palace double dip is hard required.
Yeah, it's kind of a tricky thing there if we don't have the Thieves Town Small.
Yeah.
I think they are running out of overworld checks at this point, so they should potentially start thinking about doing some dungeons at this point.
Yeah, the Eastern Dip, the Pod Dip, and the... Ooh, actually, Ice Palace. That might be where DukeFireBird is headed, actually, and it looks like we've got a Blue Crystal in Swamp Palace. But yeah, I'd been sleeping on ice, but he's got a big key, he's got a small key, he's got a fire source. He's got blue mail, or red mail even, to make this a little bit safer. So yeah, this Ice Palace play makes a whole lot of sense.
I even want to say one of the random 3 bottles they picked up had a green potion in it, so it even has some magic restoring it on him. So yeah, this is a full clearable dungeon. This makes the most sense.
Yeah, of course it's hard to tell without full knowledge of pendant locations, but when you see a full clearable dungeon, even with that question mark where the dungeon should be, it's still the odds-on play to go clear it.
Yeah, now we do not have the Cane of Samaria here, so we've not been seeing the Icebreaker trick, but we'll be seeing good old classic Ice Palace bomb jump.
I'm a sucker for the classics. This was the first bomb jump, the first sequence break of any note that I learned in this game. Not because it's the easiest, because it's certainly not, but because it makes this dungeon so much quicker.
It really does. It bypasses the entire sort of intended puzzle here in Ice Palace, which honestly is probably the most confusing part about this dungeon to begin with. It just completely trivializes it. So if you can learn this one trick or icebreaker, you're pretty much set.
It's one simple trick for skipping 2/3 of Ice Palace. Cold Stare hates it.
Yeah, of course, alternatively, you can just ignore the puzzle completely with the Cane of Samaria. But Child Me back then did the dungeons in order.
Yep, and of course, for quite a long time, Icebreaker rather had not been discovered, and this was the way that you did it. Even now that Icebreaker is tournament legal and allowed for everybody, you still got to know this trick because you don't want to be doing this dungeon the vanilla way if you come through here without Red Cane.
Heck, in normal play, sometimes Colzer has a small key, which forces the Cane of Samaria as the logical way to get through this dungeon. That, of course, is very unlikely here in Key Sandy.
Not a whole lot to speak of so far in Ice Palace, but 5 checks left. Meanwhile, hydrapower is about to get his disappointment here in the escape sequence. We'll see where he goes after that.
Meanwhile, DukeFireBird in the Fury room there found the shovel. So a bit of an unknown of whether the stats required or not. Could still be useful there, but that's really useful. There are the boots in Ice Palace in the Freezor chest.
Very nice bit of value there, making everything just that little bit quicker from here on out. It also means when he makes the desert play, he'll be able to collect what's on the torch. Opens up King's Tomb and Bonk Rocks.
And
Lots
the library,
of
which
value.
gives us the 3rd medallion as well.
Ooh, yeah. All right, Ice Tea Room with just 10 arrows. DukeFireBird gets to beeline for the boss.
Now here's the best / worst part. We don't have a map to Ice Palace, so we don't know whether or not this is a pendant or a crystal dungeon here.
True enough, but those books are gonna, or those boots are gonna make it pay out, whether it winds up being a crystal or not.
And do you take advantage of this berry room to grab a berry before heading over to Cold Stare? A little extra safety.
Meanwhile, Hydrapower is going to give us a look at the back of Skull Woods. And he's guaranteed to get a red crystal for his trouble, so that's handy.
Yeah, Skull Woods is one of the other dungeon besides Swamp Palace that does not require its big key to fight the boss. So this is a solid enough play from Hydrapower. Stare getting a little bit away from DukeFireBird, but managed to get him down.
Grabbing a small key to Thieves Town for his troubles, so that Thieves Town is going to be full clearable for him. Very nice find.
And that means he will get his lamp eventually, and I cannot imagine that DukeFireBird is going to not pull clear Thieves Town right now. That's a quick flute to 3.
Yeah, Thieves Town clear, and then north into a Skull Woods clear. Seems like a real strong proposition if you're DukeFireBird right now, and sure enough, he's fluting to 3. Speaking of that Skull Woods, Hydrapower has just dropped into his Moth fight, starting it off strong with 2 Master Sword spins to the dome.
And that was the 4th one, I believe. There we go.
Gets $5 for his trouble, but also going to pick up a red crystal. Both of our runners sitting at 1 crystal at this point.
Alright, DukeFireBird now going to be heading over to the back of Skull Woods. Hydrapower, meanwhile, finding the map to Eastern Palace. A little bit more information for us here in the booth.
Yep, there are 2 pendants still unaccounted for, and only so many places they can be. And it looks like Hydrapower also going to be heading towards Ice Palace. Makes a lot of sense. We've got 2 crystals obtainable, and he just obtained 1.
Unfortunately, Hydrapower does not have East Town in the mind, has not been over to Sahasrara to have as the East Town big key. Alright, our first check of the back half of East Town here in the attic. Small key to Skull Woods. Don't really need that anymore, but still nice to have. That is DukeFireBird's first.
And this Ice Palace play is going to be very nice for Hydrapower. He'll get that Thieves Town small before getting the Thieves Town big and heading into Thieves Town proper, so it will be full clearable in addition to his boots. Meanwhile, Firebird finds another GT small in Maiden Cell.
Now let's see if that Thieves Town small key was worth the trouble. In the big chest we have a map to Desert Palace. We know that is unfortunately a 5-6 crystal, so that wasn't necessary, but still nice to have if you haven't been over to the Palm Vendor this seed, which unfortunately I think both runners have at this point.
Yep, but it's also can be useful just to check that box off of your mental checklist. One less thing to worry about.
There we go, the blind fight. Phase 1 going smoothly. Phase 2 pretty smooth there as well.
Yep, Firebird keeping it right on script. Easy peasy. Lets it get a little away from him there towards the end, but not by much. Blind goes down.
Yeah, the third part is the one you had the most wiggle room from. It's the one you want to keep. You want to keep the first two phases in check, really. But a pretty clean blind fight otherwise. DukeFireBird probably not going to waste any time heading straight over to Skullwoods, most likely. Trying to get away from this thief, though.
And decides to take a little detour and grab hammer pegs first. Makes sense. Don't want to leave an orphan behind. But it's not going to turn into anything good, but at least we get to see those nice hammer dash strats this time.
Yeah, and this is also just a good play in general, because that's one less loose end that DukeFireBird would not have to clean up later. And it was for a Dark Palace small key, which we may need a lot of, so definitely worthwhile.
Yeah, I'd forgotten all about that.
Of course, with optimal key usage in Dark Palace, you can spend as little as 4 keys. That is, of course, depending on whether or not you are comfortable doing the hammer jump and skipping the front door.
Yeah, I think since Pod is a pendant today, I think the knowledge of how many Pod smalls are in the logic is going to be almost as useful. Just because if the other 3 Pod smalls are chilling in GT, then that cuts so much out of logic that it makes it a less alluring destination.
That is true. At the same time, however, Pod is one of the more item-dense dungeons, and those little small keys we have could be locking progression we need elsewhere, like the Cane of Samaria, for example.
Hydrapower dropping into his cold stare fight, using some Swordeem strats to save himself a little bit of magic for the next phase. Very nicely done. And Cold Stare goes down.
We have a question in the chat. Do you know that school was fashionable light world? It would be, yes, but we are playing with inverted rules, which means we mirror from the light world to the dark world. And we do not have a mirror currently. DukeFireBird about to drop into their fight. Stalling out the Wallmaster there, which is good because you could get 1.0'd and have the Wallmaster grab you right out of that pit as you're falling in.
Yep, definitely better safe than sorry. Meanwhile, Hydrapower's got his shovel out. This is an awkward check to route in. So if this winds up being something good, it could be a while before DukeFireBird sees it.
DukeFireBird struggling them off here. Those spikes doing it. And that is a furried mushroom, or is that a truffle? I can't tell anymore. And HydraPower's going to have to go all the way around to the light world to turn that in.
Yep, the fungus is among us, and speaking of awkward checks to try to handle, in inverted, when you can't just flute to the potion shop, when do you route in that mushroom turn-in?
Given we have the boots, when you do Bonk Rocks and Kingston.
Yeah, that might very well be as close as you're gonna get to it.
And then you also do Graveyard Ledge. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. But we can also do Graveyard Ledge inverted mirror logic changes.
Yeah, so that's a fairly dense route with 4 items altogether. I'm not sure if HydraPower has done those flipper checks yet. That could be something else pulling him in that direction. And that's the silvers there in Bonk Rocks.
And here we go with Kingston here. There's the Desert Big Key on Stumpy.
That's what that was.
Is HydraPower leaving behind Graveyard Ledge?
Did he pick that up earlier? I know we saw it, I just forget which runner. Pretty sure HydraPower did not intend to drop into that fairy fountain, but as long as he's there, he's gonna give the little lady some love in the form of a bomb to the face. Alright, let's see if this fetch quest pays out. This fetch quest chain. What does the mushroom hold for us? It's a sword!
I'd say that's worth.
Yeah, it really depends where that 4th sword is hiding. If that's right along the critical path, then probably not worth the time spent, but it could be worse. It could have been a blue rupee or something.
With so many more bosses to defeat, it's very much going to be worth their while to have it. That just saves so much time on most of the boss fights. Oh, and HydraPower's going to check the second key chest here in Aga Tower.
Yeah, it seems like he's really trying to avoid the eastern pod area. Been cleaning up a lot of these overworld locations. He's going to need to get there eventually. That Thieves Town Big Key is hiding in Sorcerer's Closet.
Now, we haven't seen what Eastern is, but with pod being a pendant, I can see why they want to avoid that area. It's also kind of tricky to do, and unfortunately, the second chest of Agatar is just a green rupee, so not really required to go there. HydraPower going to take a depth warp. DukeFireBird finally into the Mizumai region. Oh, is Hydra going to Hera?
I think he very well might be. That's kind of what he has left on this mountain climb. Potentially Spite Cave afterwards.
Oh, he's getting the small key here on Spectacle Rock, that's right.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Ooh, and that's another pod small. Starting to think that pod might hold something interesting for us.
Now, 4 small keys puts the back of the dungeon in logic, I believe, but not the dark maze.
I believe that's correct. Not that either of our runners are likely to let that stop them if they choose to commit to the pod play in the first place. And there's the butter sword in the Hera ground floor lobby.
Meanwhile, we are seeing a bit of a Misery Mire diff here from DukeFireBird. We have not seen anything in this dungeon either, so we're about to get some new checks here from both runners.
Yep, and Misery Mire is quite the check-dense dungeon in Key Sanity. It has so many small keys in vanilla.
Yeah, I believe there is 8 items here total. Speaking of keys, there's Smoking Against Tower. I believe that's our 3rd. I did not see what DukeFireBird picked up, though.
I believe it was garbage.
There's that Higher Castle small key, which puts everything in Zelda Solo in logic, which wasn't much, unfortunately, if my memory serves me correctly.
Yep, meanwhile, Hydrapower dropping into his Moldorm fight, taking the worm down.
That is the mystery prize here. 3 bombs, and it is a crystal.
Very nice. So I believe by process of elimination, we have identified all 3 of our pendants. We've got that Pod Green, Eastern's a pendant, and Turtle Rock has to be the last pendant.
Yep, there's the map trick right there from Hydrapower, so that pretty much confirms it. We know our prize layout. So Hydrapower definitely wants to avoid the Eastern Palace pod play if he can help it. But at the same time, is Hydrapower avoiding progression as we find the big key to Eastern Palace in Mire?
Yeah, there's so much check density in Eastern and Pod. It's hard to imagine in a Key Sanity seed that our runners can avoid it forever. And in fact, the pendant layout almost make it a more attractive proposition, hoping that what you need is, knowing that you may not ever have to complete them, hoping to just get in there, get your value, and get out without ever having to come back.
Well, now that we know what we need, it looks like it's just Cadence Samaria and the Book of Medora and the Mirror for Go mode as well. I believe I haven't missed an item there. Keys, though, of course, are still a ways off.
Yeah, we're gonna need the Swamp Small. Actually, and the GT Big.
And we're gonna need... Yeah, we need the Swamp Small, the GT Big. I almost thought we'd probably need some keys from Terror to Rock, but then I realized it's not only inverted, it's also a pendant, so we don't necessarily need to go in there. So yeah, we're not too far away from Go mode here.
Yeah, as such things are reckoned in a Key Sanity seed, and just a little over an hour in. But so far, this Mire play has been a bit of a bust for DukeFireBird. Oh, and I didn't see where Hydrapower pulled the powder from, but he is giving us a batter check.
Probably wasn't Hera, if I had to guess. I wasn't paying too much attention. But the powder gives us the Book of Medora! It's required!
Ooh.
Powder was in Spike Cave, according to chat. So we did miss him doing that.
Thank you, chat. Yeah, I saw him going in, and then I got distracted on Firebird's side. But that's a really nice find. That opens up everything in Desert Palace, including the red crystal, which will in turn open up Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, hydrapower will be the first one to check that. Only 6 items here in Desert Palace, if I did my math correctly. But still a good amount of items regardless. Smoky Eternal Rock. That does make the boss available if we need to go to Laser Bridge. But other than that, we don't really want to see Eternal Rock Smoky as a seed.
Yeah, and it makes the boss available, but it does not put him into logic, so it's that's a bit of a commitment for one out of logic check.
Yeah. There is 4 items on Laser Bridge though if we find that mirror. To get back to our pot or Turtle Rock.
Yeah, and we're with Swamp Palace being a crystal, we will need to find that mirror eventually. And that's another pod small.
That's 5. That's worrying.
Yeah, that's to the point where you start to wonder, I mean, should I be making the pod play? And then you also wonder, well, but I'm so close now, should I just try and wait until I find the pod big, though?
One more pod small key, and I think... Oh, it's so hard to tell. I think you still need all 4 small keys for Turtle Rock's boss to be in logic, despite the inverted rule.
I'm fairly sure you're right, because you could, if one were so inclined, spend all of them entirely out of order and lock yourself out of that boss. But none of that's going to matter until and unless we see the mirror to get into the back and the red gain to get anywhere but Laser Bridge.
Yeah, but the only thing I can see here is a very long-winded play, but the dungeons are almost entirely clearable with Pod Eastern. I feel like you should do them sooner rather than later. That could just have your progression right there waiting for you.
Yeah, I think if you're DukeFireBird and you've got that Eastern Big, that makes that an attractive option, because you know you can full clear it, and it looks like he might be headed in that direction as Hydrapower enters his Landmo fight.
Yeah, this is an Eastern Palace play from DukeFireBird for sure. One silver arrow, 2 silver arrows, and... Oh, misses the 3rd! But down goes Lambo, and they have just 3 bombs on them. But that is 5-6 for Hydrapower. We'll see if Pyramid Fairy has anything later.
Just a trio of blueberries there in the first chest of Eastern. And Hydrapower is going to continue to leverage that book and give us a look at the Desert Tablet.
Some more bombs. Some leftover explosions from the Bombos animation.
All right, let's see where Hydrapower heads next. Looks like Hydrapower has opted to make the pod play with 5 small keys That puts a whole lot into logic. Not everything, though. But with 5 smalls, as chat was saying, it makes a lot of sense to assume that the 6th might be right there in pod, or it might be someplace like Eastern that you just haven't checked yet, but is in logic, so this play makes a whole lot of sense.
HydraPower meanwhile is going to do pod first, and this makes a lot of sense about the mirror, because you can just take the mirror portal, or the portal down south to Eastern Palace. And there was our map to Thieves Town in here.
Yeah, and with HydraPower not having found that Eastern Palace big key yet, doing the pod play first makes a whole lot of sense. It's more checks, and doing Eastern without, even as a pendant, without that big key can be awkward. And that's another Turtle Rock all in the Eastern Palace big key chest on DukeFireBird's side.
Yeah, and it's sort of mirrored on DukeFireBird's end, where he thinks Eastern Palace is the more valuable play, despite not having... And that's because he has less small keys to Palace of Darkness. And as I was speaking, we just got a big item found as well. The Cadence Maria and the Ice Rod have both been found in Palace of Darkness by HydraPower. They are very early on in the season's progression here. And that does, I think, theoretically put the Tyrannus in logic. Well, keys notwithstanding, but still.
Yeah, no, those with his 5 pod smalls, both of those items were entirely in logic for HydraPower. So those are really good finds. That's gonna open up the boss of Meyer, and that's also, well, HydraPower's gonna need to find his Bombos medallion before that happens. But that also opens up a whole bunch of stuff in Turtle Rock.
I want to say they're even in logic for DukeFireBird with 3 keys, so that's going to be a huge amount of items for both runners here. And this does also open up all 3 pendants to being potentially available to be collected, depending on where those last 2 Turtle Rock small keys are. Because our Swamp Palace small is still notwithstanding, as is our mirror. And I think we need both, actually, to do Swamp Palace. Now that I think about it.
Yes, we do. We need Mirror to get in there, and then that's E to do anything but just the one lobby chest before once we do get there. And that's another Turtle Rock small from HydraPower there in the Harmless Hellway of Pod.
That's our 3rd Turtle Rock small.
Yep. Now that one was out of logic until that 6th pod small shows up, but that could be all kinds of weird places.
Alright, Dark Maze being checked by HydraPower here.
Firebird showing off one of the really awkward things about Inverted. Sometimes you want to get out of Spike Cave.
And HydraPower finding nothing of note in Dark Maze there. It looks like hydrapower is going to make the difference in Eastern Palace, which means he will get the third Turtle Rock Small. Now, I think in this position, you kind of want to dip the front half of Turtle Rock at the very least, just to see what's in there. Because we're looking for the mirror and we're looking for the small key, and both of them could be available.
Yep, and I think we're running out of better places to look. And Hydrapower, well, but Hydrapower just pulled that Bombos medallion and that Thieves Town big out of Sasra's closet. So I think he's going to miss out on Eastern Palace for now. That just opened up more interesting propositions for him, which we know from DukeFireBird's side, Thieves Town is not going to give him much other than that crystal. But the Bombos medallion and away into Misery Mire, that's going to open up another crystal plus a check that we haven't seen yet with that red cane to make his way to boss.
Now, unfortunately for DukeFireBird, was attempting a dump for it, but forgot about his fairy, so it ended up failing. He really wants to stay in the Dark World here, so he wants to stay on the mountain. I think he might be making the Hera play.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. He has the means to get all of what's in there except for the chest in the basement, which requires a small key.
Going back the other way, though, seems a bit indecisive. Now, one thing we haven't seen yet is the Ether Tab. I wonder if that could have one of our progression items.
Yeah, entirely possible. Unfortunately, Firebird does not have that book from Batter quite yet. So, if that's holding the answer, it's going to have to remain a mystery for a while longer.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that is a very isolated check for both runners.
Yeah, especially lacking the mirror. I suppose Inverted's breaking my brain. I'm trying to think how one would route that in.
I don't even think the mirror helps with the route in there. You have to go the long way regardless.
Yeah, you do have to go the long way regardless. It's just a matter of if you have the mirror, then you can get that and then still mirror back to the Dark World and continue your Dark World checks after that.
Alright, here we go with HydroFire's Blind Fight.
Blind goes down. Hydrapower is going to get a piece of heart and another crystal. As Firebird grabs his pod small from the top of Spectacle there and heads on into Tower of Hera. Hydrapower is going to head into Misery Mire. Makes a whole lot of sense. There's some sort of vaguely alphabetical saying about dungeons and how you should clear them.
me a moment to get that, actually, not gonna lie. Alright, so the only new shark we're going to be seeing here for a little bit is going to be Vitreous. So while we have a moment here, make sure to do follow our runners here. They are putting on an excellent race for us so far tonight.
Absolutely. We were saying at the top of the stream how this inverted key sanity mode is one of the controversial inclusions in this tournament, but both of the runners there in the race time room were all about it. So good on them for approaching this challenging mode with a positive attitude.
Alright, DukeFireBird, where are you going this time? This looks like a pod play. Gonna be getting his Ice Rod and Cadence Samari here shortly. Oh, but wait, hang on. We have not seen the Pyramid Ledge yet, have we?
I don't believe we have. Just some bombs. And DukeFireBird retracing his steps, gonna head back into pod and grab his Ice Rod and his Cane of Samaria. Hydrapower has a little more disappointment to find here in Mire before showing us anything new.
Yeah, I will say this much about DukeFireBird. He is being very efficient with his overworld, not leaving any isolated checks behind, which is overall good in the long term when you go into these single item hunts like this. Well, it's a dual item hunt here, but more to the point, he's not leaving anything behind, so he's going to have less time searching all his loose ends, which could be helpful in the late game.
Yep, it's thoroughness is kind of the name of the game here. When you're looking for, in this case, 2 items that could be anywhere, just about anywhere but Swamp to get you into Swamp. And then that GT Big Key is still outstanding and could be absolutely anywhere, including inside GT itself.
Yeah, the only place it can be is outside of the normal GT Big Key lock chest, which is the top 4 and the big chest. And when we say anywhere, it could even be on the pedestal, for all we know, locked behind keys, pendant dungeon keys that are in GT. Like, we're still missing, I think, 1 or 2 TR smalls, and they could just be in GT.
Yeah, we do also need the pod big, which, as you say, could very well be in GT. All right, Hydrapower is closing in on his Vitreous fight. Should be a nice, quick fight with the Silver Arrows. Plenty of health, even if things do wind up going bad with a stray lightning shot or 2.
Yeah, but with good aim, we should not see that at all. And there we go. And there we go. Now, I don't think hydrapower did this check here in pod. No, wait, never mind. That's where the ice rod is. Making mistakes.
Yep, DukeFireBird does get his red cane, and he is coming in here with one fewer pod small than hydrapower had. I'm trying to remember what was in Harmless Hellway.
Well, he can just, he's already been down this way. But he could, in theory... Yeah, he's just playing it safe here, just gonna do the full key skips, I think.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So he's not gonna end up over the front door. hydrapower, meanwhile, is gonna go into Eastern Palace to wrap up things up there.
Yeah, a lot of folks don't like doing all these key skips in here in pod. They prefer to just spend the key and open up that middle door. But even though it's a big pain going through the right-hand side over and over again, it's also a big pain coming back here if you orphan something that you need.
Yeah, and the way the DukeFireBird is doing this is if the green pin is required, he'll find the last two small keys and just power through the rest of the dungeon.
That's right, it was a Turtle Rock small hiding there. Well, with Ice Rod and everything else pointing you towards Turtle Rock, having that could wind up being important.
Yeah, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if Turtle Rock is holding one of our last remaining pieces of progression, if not both.
Yep, but we've still got two more Turtle Rock smalls before the Lava Chest or Trinex are fully in logic, I believe.
That is true, but at the same time, the front 3 or 4 chests might still have something we need.
Yeah, that's looking like one of the denser plays that's left to us at this point is that front of Turtle Rock play. But DukeFireBird's going to head to where he knows he needs to go and knock out Vitreous before worrying about any of that.
And there's the third Turtle Rock small key from hydrapower. I believe DukeFireBird has that one as well, but is missing one other key somewhere else.
Yeah, I believe you're correct.
It's over in, I think it's over in Desert, actually. DukeFireBird has not been there yet.
Yep. DukeFireBird still needs to find his book on batter before he can make his way over there.
So with 3 Turtle Rock small keys, I believe that puts going all the way to Laser Bridge in logic, but the vanilla big key chest and Trinix is not.
Yeah, correct, because you can get either or of them, but you can't get both with the number of keys that you have, and so the algorithm can't know which you will collect. Hydrapower taking down the Armos Knights for his complement of 10 arrows and bitter disappointment. Let's see where he goes next.
I think hydrapower only has one play left, actually, and that is to climb the mountain again.
It seems like he agrees with you that the mountain holds his answers.
Now the question is, does Hydrapower go into Turtle Rock right away, or does he go to Ether Tablet? I'm thinking Ether Tablet first.
Well, the problem with Ether Tablet is that that's your whole run. And then you just have to start over. No way to get back to the Dark World other than a save and quit.
Well, no, he can jump down and then loop back around, but I suppose going to Turtle Rock first makes the most sense. But yeah, Turtle Rock definitely makes the most sense. DukeFireBird taking down Vitreous. And actually, I don't recall if we've seen Graveyard Ledge yet from either runner. They both, I think, skipped it.
I'm fairly sure one of them did it early on. Our tracker saying they both did it. Okay.
Okay, that must have been without the boots, and I just missed it.
Yeah, that was early on. They did not route it in with the King's Tomb or Bonk Rocks checks. And with Hydrapower heading into the front of Turtle Rock, and it looks like DukeFireBird may be going to join him, we're looking for the Swamp Palace Small and the Mirror, which will get us, between the two of them, into Swamp Palace. And we still need that GT Big Key before we enter Go Mode proper.
Which could just straight up be in GT regardless.
And with 3 Turtle Rock Smalls, everything is in logic here except for Lava Chest and Trinex. So it's... You're making a coin flip. Which out of logic check would you like to get? If you make it Trinex, then you've opened up the possibility of a Ped check. Oh, and there's the Tower of Hera Small, so that opens up one more check after our runners are done here.
Now, as much as I hate to say this, I think Hydrapower here is in an advantageous state because DukeFireBird did not turn in the powder and does not have the book, which means if Ether Tablet does have something, he is going to abandon that and leave it behind, and that will be a loose check as well for when he's in GT Big Key mode. Looking for that one item.
Yep, I'd have to agree with you, and with Hydrapower now deeper into this dungeon, he's looking like he has the advantage over DukeFireBird just in general, having that Desert Palace clear behind him.
Looks like Hydrapower will be skipping the central lava chest here.
Just a heart container there in the big chest. Any value that Turtle Rock holds has got to be hiding deeper.
Yeah, and this at this point would be 3 small key locked, I believe. Yep, the answer must be on Laser Bridge at this point.
Yep, Hydrapower has the small key to go kill Trinex should he so desire. Meanwhile, it looks like Firebird is going to peace out for the moment. Where is he headed?
That is a good question, actually. I actually don't know where he's going.
Is he betting that that Hera Small had the answer?
It could. Meanwhile, laser bridge here. 3 bombs.
This seems like a heck of a gamble from Firebird.
Our piece. $20 rupees. Uh-oh.
Oh, man.
And the map to its own dungeon.
Oh, my. So, yeah, Turtle Rock. I mean, we could still have this out-of-logic Trinex play could still pay out. It could just be that last Turtle Rock Small here in the basement, for all we know.
Or it could be one of our 2 missing progression items. At this point, I don't know what it could be. I want to say there's only like 2 items available in Logic. This item that DukeFireBird is checking and the Ether Tablet.
Yeah, that's all that springs to my mind.
So unless the mirror and the towers and the Swamp Small is in these 2 checks specifically, we're in a fetch quest mode. There's the mirror, though.
Ooh. Nice find from DukeFireBird. That'll get him into Swamp Palace, but only give him 1 check while he's there. Meanwhile, Hydrapower taking down Trinex. That mirror does also let Firebird back into Turtle Rock. And yeah, Trinex not the answer. Hydrapower just getting a piece of heart and a blue pendant for his troubles.
DukeFireBird not wasting time going into Swamp Palace here. I don't blame him. This is the last dungeon and he's doing a Hail Mary play. He wants us to be a vanilla small.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. That mirror does also open up Mimic Cave, doesn't it?
No, that
no, it doesn't.
Yeah, all mirror checks are available without mirror.
Yeah, my mistake. Inverted breaks my brain. That's why I phrased it as a question. But all right, this tablet check, this Ether Tablet check, could be huge for Hydrapower. Let's see it. Just a trio of bombs.
It means... Oh no. There's something here in the first chest of Swamp Palace. There's nothing left. There has to be something here.
It certainly looks that way, but... Nope.
No, wait,
that was not the answer.
What are we forgetting? 5, 6 hasn't been checked.
Yep. That mirror was the last piece of the puzzle we needed to take that big red bomb from the bomb shop at Link's house location in the light world back to the dark world and blow up the pyramid hole.
Completely forgot that was required or an inverted to do the super bomb.
Yep. It And yeah, PED is not going to be a possibility until we find the pod big key, and it will be out of logic until we find the Turtle Rock final small key as well.
Which could just be locked behind the green pendant for all we know at this point. DukeFireBird going to be picking up his book. Hydrapower's got the mirror. Portal not quite centered. It is Swamp Small for Go mode at this point. And
we
GT
do still
Big
need
D
that
as well.
GT Big D, yeah. Swamp Small for GT mode.
I'd say at this point, if you got GT mode, you rush Ganon's tower.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right, Hydrapower is going to show us what that big red bomb is worth. I feel like this is inverted, throwing the players just a little bit of a bone. Here you go. You will always get the shortcut route to the bomb turn-in. Don't have to kill Aga 1 for it.
Well, you do have to kill Aga 1 if you don't have the mirror. But the super bone contains for us the magic cape. That's not wait, bumper ledge? And 5 rubies, it's bumper ledge? Are you serious?
Yeah, I don't think we've seen a bumper ledge check, have we?
And there's a third small key to turn rock. And that's why DukeFireBird did, because it was out of logic for him to go any further.
That's right, that's right.
It's so hard to keep track of all these keys.
It really is. Especially when my knowledge of the ins and outs of inverted is shaky to begin with.
And you need the mirror as well to get the bumper ledge item, because I forgot that's how it works in inverted.
Yup.
So they could have scouted this, but they couldn't get it until this point.
So it's going to be a blind pull from hydrapower. But it pretty much has to be... It has to be something, right?
It has to be. And
Chat's praying for a pop big.
It is
it's
a small
key. All right. It is the small key to swamp.
That is go mode for hydrapower at 141.23.
Well, GT mode.
You're right. I keep forgetting this isn't key sanity. We still have to find the GT big key.
Yep. I don't envision hydrapower going too far out of his way to look for it before entering GT, but on the other hand, you really don't want to leave it behind anywhere.
No,
does he do left side swamp is the big question mark.
You are GT big key from Gomo and it could be anywhere. I would be an absolute fool to not do left side swamp here, just to make absolutely sure it's not being left behind.
I think, oh man, that's a tough call. I think it depends on whether you feel behind or ahead, and it's hard to imagine feeling too ahead in a seed this rough.
And for all we know, it could just be the Ganon Therapy key on pedestal. We have not bothered to check it with the book.
Yeah, I mean, there's just never a good time.
Now, of the big keys we have remaining, there is only 2 others, I believe. The Pod big key and the Skull Woods big key, I want to say. So there is chances that we just pick a big key and we just get like, oh, we're big over in Go mode. Nope, not just yet.
Trying to think if DukeFireBird has anything else to check that would keep him away from the bomb, but I don't think so. It does look like that's where he's going. And Hydrapower is going to go at least a little bit out of his way for checks. He's going to check the canal chest south of Big Chest here in Swamp Palace.
Yeah. And about the only place the GT Big Key can't be is anything that's locked behind the top 4 chests and the GT Big Key chest. Which means if we have any one of our pendant dungeons there, that means it's not a pet seed, but at the same time, we can't possibly know that at this point until we open those up.
Hydrapower opting to leave left side behind, and yeah, I support it. You've got 22 checks in GT versus 2 on the left side. At some point, you gotta make some skips.
I mean, he could also just be opting to go fight the boss first and hope it's on the way.
True, but if you don't find it on the boss, are you really gonna go back in here for 2 slow checks? I don't know.
I'd rather do 2 slow checks now than potentially bank doing 20 checks without having any luck, only to come back here and then climb the mountain again. Or in this case, Hyrule Castle.
I mean, it's on the one hand, it's true. On the other hand, it's a 10-to-1 shot that it's up in GT versus on left side swamp here.
Yeah, it's either do you want to play for density or you want to be thorough. I think the correct answer here is, given the fact that the GT Big Key can be anywhere, is you want to be... Oh, geez, it actually is really a tough call. I think being thorough here is the correct play, though, this time around.
I mean, of course, we have the curse of knowledge. We can see that Hydrapower has a pretty nice lead going into this end game. He could afford to be thorough if he so chose, but it's hard to have that perspective when you're playing the game. You can't see where your opponent is, and all you know is just how hard this seed has been smacking you around. And yep, Hydrapower is going to leave it behind. And yeah, I don't blame him.
Yeah, I don't blame him either. Going for the density play. It makes the most sense as well. So now, folks, we get to play a little bit of a guessing game. We have 22 chests in Ganon's Tower, but the big key may not be in there at all. So which chest do you think will have the big key in there, if any?
Oh, I'm a sucker for the classics. Just put it on Torch. Just have it just right there. Just bonk into it. It'll be fine.
If you want me to be perfectly honest with you, I wanted to be on the green pendant, actually.
Oh, in for a penny, in for a pound. If you want that kind of punishment, just put it on Ped.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. Anyway, let's see where it is. Hydrapower going to start with Hope Room. Blue potion and 20 rupees. Get a mirror. And we have a small key on the torch. It is to Castle Tower. So we were hard logic and not doing Agnum today. Goodbye, Aga 1. We are not seeing you.
Half magic here in Stalfos room. And you're going to need it if you keep on whiffing your fire rod shots like that. That's a big key. It's the GT Big in Stalfos room. Hydrapower entering go mode at 1 hour, 48 minutes and change.
There we go, folks.
So DukeFireBird's one hope was that it was hiding on left side swamp, and he opted to go for it. But this Hydrapower just has a gauntlet climb, which he is very well equipped for, with 17 hearts, red mail, butter swords, silver arrows, 4 bottles full of God knows what. Hydrapower would have to play pretty poorly to lose this lead at this point.
One of them is, I believe, is a red potion. The other one is a blue potion, as we just saw from the Stalfos room. So, is pretty much well equipped for this Ganon fight. I don't see that going poorly at all for Hydrapower here.
Hydrapower switching to the wooden arrows just to save himself a little bit of lag as he uses them to get through this gauntlet.
And there we go. Oh, getting through this. The Reds is act there being a little bit rude.
Nice, clean, zero-cycle Landmo fight with the silver arrows.
Yep, pretty well done. Onto the Wizrub floor. So simple and yet so satisfying, being those quick kills on the Wizrubs. There we go, Argus here for DukeFireBird. Lining up the silver, and there we go.
DukeFireBird about to grab his 7th crystal as Hydrapower finishes up his gauntlet climb. He's got 3 boss fights between himself and the Triforce room.
And this Boldorb is not going to be a big issue at all. 2 slashes, and down it goes. DukeFireBird also making the play over into new GT. Going over will save him a bit of time here, but with an entire climb of about 4 minutes between himself and Hydrapower, Hydrapower definitely has a commanding lead at this point. And here we go, the Ganon 2 fight. That looks like a triple right there.
Yep, very nicely done. A single there in the second round. Just needs 2 more shots to the dome to finish this out. Oh, but he's not going to cooperate. That's a 2-1-1, or a 3-1-1 rather. And there's a final energy ball taking down the wizard.
Single, triple, triple, single. DukeFireBird also going to be doing Cobra real quick and then going left. We'll be getting the GT Biggie. And a bit of an oddity here for Inverted. Ganon just crashes into the ceiling of Hyrule Castle and somehow we're in his boss arena.
And no fancy strats needed to get the 1+1 with that butter sword. You can just kind of wade in and get your slashes going.
Yeah, it's only 6 slashes on the butter sword in order to advance the phases here for phases 1 and 2 Ganon. And then the random teleports begin. Gotta get 4 hits in here when Ganon decides to let you. He'd be kind of mean. And there is Gomo for DukeFireBird at 153.33.
Hydrapower entering the final phase of the Ganon fight.
Oh, almost. I think if he stunned him there, that would have been a prime triple position.
Yep. But was not to be, but it won't be much longer now. Just 1 more arrow and the pig will go down.
And there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, get your GGs in chat for Hydrapower. Going up 3-2 in the Group W here.
crossing the bridge and finishing with an official race time of 1 hour, 54 minutes, and 33 seconds.
What a race this was. And we are now joined by Hydrapower. Your GCU, and congratulations on winning this race, going, I believe it is 3-2, as I just mentioned. Walk us through the seed. How do you like it?
This is actually my first inverted key sanity finished seed, so welcome to the mode, I guess. My practice consisted of one half of one seed, and I'm like, okay, we're good. Yep, I'm ready for the tournament now. So yeah, that was pretty wild.
Yeah, definitely a lot of twists and turns here. There are a few rude item placements, though. Most notably, that mirror, I believe, is one of the big ones.
Yeah, that was quite rude. And you know, like I said, I don't really play this mode, so I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure the Harrod basement is going to be the mirror, but what does that do? And I had to think, and then I realized that gives you the Pyramid Fairy access, and then I get the cape, and I'm like, wait a minute, what was Bumper Ledge? I don't actually think I even looked at it. So then I'm like, let's just do this blind, because otherwise, you know, the Swamp Small is in Swamp. But no, it was just on the ledge. So yeah, I mean, it was a full hundo kind of seed, but I think I managed to avoid bad double dips, you know, and that's the key to key sanity, I think. You know, I mean, Thieves Town doesn't count. You're going to check the first four, and Skullwoods doesn't count, but stuff like Ice Palace, Misery Mire, Pod, Eastern, I think I managed to be efficient with those, even though, you know, if you had a spoiler log, you'd be like, no, you don't have to do the entire thing, man. But, you know, you don't know that, of course. So I think it went okay.
Yeah, the big difference through most of the seed was that you made your way to that book on Batter a little earlier than Firebird, so you were able to have that dungeon clear over him for most of the time that you guys were running.
Yeah, and of course it's like not as simple to just check powder as it is in a normal mode. So you're like, okay, I'm doing this one thing for, you know, avoiding Palace of Darkness and Eastern to do this one thing, and somehow that was the right thing. So yeah, like I said, I think I managed to make, you know, whether it was intentional or not, I made good plays and stayed efficient that way. And I mean, I felt sharp, like execution wise. I didn't feel like I made a lot of mistakes that way. So yeah, I feel like, you know, the longer it was going, like it was still, you know, it was pretty long, but since it was almost designed to be a hundo anyway, I felt pretty good about it despite all that. But you know, you're still just kind of watching the race from like, oh geez, is he gonna finish, you know, snipe me here because I screwed up somewhere. But in the end, it was a victory for me, so I'm pretty happy about that. Because I'm still alive here in the group. This is a very tough group here with Tam and Jilo and Duke, so I wasn't looking very good there for a while at 1 and 2, but I have a chance here, so I'm pretty happy.
Absolutely. Oops, sorry, go ahead.
Yes, yes, well done so far. Now, I'm not 100% sure how many races we have left here in Group W for you. How many more do you have to play again?
So I play Jilo Ninja tomorrow night, and that is my final race. And Tam and Jilo have to play each other, and I believe Duke has to play 3 more races against Tam and Jilo. So I'm kind of, I wanted to finish somewhat early because I have a couple of busy weekends coming up here. So it's 3 and 3 would not be good for me. I don't think there's a tiebreaker scenario that works out for me there. There might be. I don't know all of them. 4 and 2 is a lot better. So I need to try to close the deal tomorrow night and then just hang back and see what happens in the rest of the group.
Hopefully you get yourself in a nice strong position here in that last race tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Now, I haven't gotten open mode yet, which is kind of my bread and butter, so I'm hoping the bot will be nice and give me that and not this again. Because I think if I get this again, Jilo's going to destroy me, because I know he's kind of a cross-keys inverted guy. So hopefully the luck is on my side there. and we can find a way to win. So that's what we're hoping for.
Absolutely. Well, best of luck to you in that match. Looks like, according to the schedule here, that's going to be tomorrow night at 8:10 p.m. Eastern.
Yes, and I have no idea what time in Australia that is, but apparently it's okay. So, yeah, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate your volunteering tonight, and appreciate the restream. Looks like Duke is about to finish up here, so I will bow out here and let you guys have a chat with him. So, thank you again, and we'll see you next mission.
Yes, and just to point that out, folks, that match between Hydrapower and Jewel Ended is currently to be determined in terms of restream. And there we go. GG's to DukeFireBird finishing with a time of 2 hours and 10 seconds. Very strong performance there from him as well. Get your G's in chat once again.
Yes, indeed. And it looks like we will be joined by him shortly here in the interview booth. And there he is, GG's.
Yay, GG's. Oh, that was a seed.
That was, in fact, a seed. Should we talk about the elephant in the room? That rough Swamp Palace Small location?
Yeah! Normally I try to check that, and I didn't. And if I would have seen that it was a small key, I would have beelined for that when I had the cape. Oh well. But yeah, I was running out of locations for that Swamp Small, and I was like, okay, is there a chance it's in Swamp? Nope. Yeah, this Eve is nasty with its mirror and book. Even the book placement was kind of just because of where how to get the powder and all that. Just trying to find a time to wrap that back in.
Yeah, that wound up playing a bit of a spoiler. Hydropower wound up doing that relatively early, and so he had a Desert Palace clear over you for a lot of the mid to late game there.
Yeah, I caught the tail end of the interview with him, so yeah, I heard that. And I'm like, Yeah, I was just running out of locations, and I was really kind of hoping to not step foot into Turtle Rock, but no, you kind of had to. So...
Yeah, especially considering that with the Castle Tower Small Key being on the GT Torch, there was absolutely no way to get the Super Rump in there without the mirror, which you needed the Tower Small Key. At least you didn't need that third key in Desert, though.
The which one?
The third TR Small.
Oh, the TR. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, well, luckily with Inverted, you really only need 2. If you know how to do the route properly. But you need to have mirror for that to work. So...
Yeah, that was a bit of a rough spot for that to be hiding all seed.
Yeah. Well, hey, at least I got to play my favorite mode, so I'm happy.
Good to hear. Now, this does put you 0-3 currently with 3 more games to go. Hopefully you can at least break even here and that would be good enough to qualify for the bracket stage.
I don't know if it does, actually. Hold on, let me check a thing. I legit don't think it does. Yeah, Hydra just went 3-2. So at best I tie him. Jula would be 2-3 because I'd have to sweep him. And then 2-3, 3-2, 3-2. And I guess, yeah, it would just matter about my last match with Tam. Okay, maybe there is a shot. And I'm not gonna say die. That's just it. So.
A good mentality to have here. Not much else to say about the Zeta. It was pretty much a hundo, so...
Yeah, definitely a hundo. Yeah, I'm looking at my tracker, I'm like, yeah, there is not much left. Yeah, I was kind of happy, at least the early game, the way I ratted that, I was like, oh, hey, early Moon Pearl, let's go. And then it was like, what was it? It was like, 20-minute light world access with mitts? So, I'll take it.
Yeah, I really don't have any more to say. So, any final thoughts about the scene before we let you go?
Nope, was good. Thank you guys for commentating. Thank you. Looks like Iwala was your tracker, so thank you. And of course, SpeedGaming for hosting, and of course, all the viewers, because if you guys weren't watching, we wouldn't be doing these races. You guys all rock.
Now, there is one other question I have for you. When is your next race on the schedule? I'm having trouble finding it.
My next race is actually going to be on Sunday with Julo at 6:30, or so 6:40 broadcast time.
Okay,
PM.
and that, of course, is restream to be determined, of course, because we don't know if we're going to have one just yet.
Yeah, it's a couple days out, so. And then the final 2 games, I have one against Tam and another one against Julo. We haven't decided those ones yet, so we'll get that done. I don't think us 3 are in a rush, so we're just like, okay, let's just meander it. Try not to get like seed bleed and do like 3 in one day, because that would. Ugh. I don't wish that on anyone.
Yeah, that would sound rough. Well, GG's you once again, DukeFireBird, and GG's once again to hydrapower there. Make sure to follow them both here. They put on an excellent race for us tonight. Folks, if you want to go see some more racing action here, not just Link's Best Randomizer, make sure to follow SpeedGaming, SpeedGaming 2 through 6. Coming up in about an hour, we will have Group Z, Brewers Fan JP versus Willow J. Bradley over on this channel, actually, SpeedGaming 2. And about an hour into progress right now over on SpeedGaming 5, we have Ace Zero versus Days Cloud of Group T going on right now.
Yes, indeed. Followed by a full schedule on Friday. So check the schedule. There's plenty more to watch. Thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight and everybody who put this show on for us, including my co-com, Wolflink, and I'm going to let you have the last word.
Well, I'm going to also start here that tomorrow our first race is going to be at noon over on SpeedGaming Prime, Magno versus Hayfield Bay. That's the first one on the schedule, at least. But yeah, folks, make sure to follow SpeedGaming 2 through 6 so you don't miss any racing action, not just on Link to the Best Randomizer. Also, make sure to follow the ALTTPR Randomizer and the ALT Randomizer 2 through 4. I believe it's up to 6 now. I don't remember. But we also host races over there as well as part of this tournament if we have some extra content for you to show. But yeah, that's going to do it from us here. So from Iwala Koala, my co-commentator Ben Crichton, and for all of us here at Elite Vest Randomizer, I have been Wolfling 0370. And we shall see you all next time. And thank you for watching. Have a good night, everyone.